And now we come to the big one, Thomas and the Magic Railroad, Thomas the Tank Engine's first ever full-length feature film. When this movie came out, every Thomas fan was going nuts for it. We were reenacting all the scenes, we were talking about all the characters. It was just a huge flick for us Thomas fans. So is it kind of bad to say that I think it's kind of silly now that I'm an adult? Okay, just hear me out. I'm not saying that the movie as a whole doesn't work, or anything like that. Well, let's start from the beginning. So Top of Hat goes on holiday, leaving Mr. Conductor in charge of the railway. Meanwhile, an evil train named Diesel 10 comes to the railway to destroy a lost engine named Lady and dominate the railway, turning all steam engines to scrap, leaving only diesels to do the work. While on Muffle Mountain, near Shining Time Station, an elderly man named Burnett Stone is looking after a steam engine named Lady, who turns out to be the lost engine. And the rest of the movie is just the other engines trying to find her and save the railway, while Diesel 10's plan is to destroy her, take all her magic, and then dominate the railway, as I mentioned before. And Mr. Conductor is just looking around trying to find more gold dust because he lost his. And then we get our happy ending. So what problems would I have with this movie that almost seems adult? Well, let's talk about my major problem with it. Shining Time Station. Now, I don't want to offend any Shining Time Station fans out there, but that's just not the show that I grew up with. Being from England, I've never heard of Shining Time Station. As a kid, I liked them okay, but I never really reacted to those scenes that much when I was a kid. I was always into the Sodor scenes. In fact, watching it again as an adult, I personally think that it would have been better off if they took out the Shining Time Station bits and mostly focused on Sodor, so it could appeal to the national audience. Then the movie wouldn't have been criticised as being too Americanised in the box office. In fact, I'm actually surprised that the movie didn't do so well in the box office, but the DVD and VHS sales went well. That's kind of funny, isn't it? And another nitpick I have with this film is the voice actors. And I'm sorry, but I just don't like a lot of these voice actors. Well, I take it back. Thomas's voice actor is okay. Percy's voice actress is okay. The other engine's too American. James, holy fuck balls, I hate the voice they gave for him. I was so confused that they actually gave James a woman's voice. It makes no sense. Why couldn't they have just got Michelangelos or even Ringo Starr to do the voice for him? It would have sounded better than letting a woman do the voice for him. And as you know, the movie lacks a lot of Thomas the Tank Engine. It shows a lot of Mr. Conductor when it should really show a lot of Thomas. Yeah, Mr. Conductor's an entertaining character, but he's not the main focus of the story. I see him as being more like Merlin or something like that. They're an interesting character, but they're not the main focus of the story. That role has to belong to Thomas the Tank Engine himself. His name's in the title of the movie, for crying out loud. Okay, I bitched about the movie, so what do I like about it? Well, it's a big story. And I do mean big. If you could check it out on the big screen, definitely see it. When Diesel's claw comes to attack Mr. Conductor on the night time, it's just massive. I think I remember someone in the audience getting scared by it. And the new characters are really good new characters. Lady is a beautiful engine who gets voiced by Britt Allcroft. Diesel 10 is the most evil Diesel, as well as being my favourite Diesel. Splat and Dodge make great comic relief. I'm not a huge fan of the human characters, but I stomach them okay. I get entertained by Mr. Conductor every now and then. And from what I heard on Sodor Island forums, there was originally going to be an uncut version of the film, like with the film being longer and all that other stuff. But the first change I heard about was replacing P.T. Boomer. I think a director's cut DVD of the film would be great. I think it might make the story a little bit better. When I was a kid, I found Diesel 10 very scary, but watching him again as an adult, I find he's both scary and comical at the same time. In a lot of scenes he tries to be a badass, but most of the time he's just a bit of a bumbler, which makes him really funny, especially when working off his claw Pinchy. While all of Diesel 10's scenes are entertaining, it's the chase scene at the end I always look forward to the most. In fact, that was always my favourite scene from the film. I loved it so much that I actually used to reenact it as a kid in playgrounds. I always used to be Diesel 10 at those times. I loved it that much. And why not? It's a really good chase scene, especially when Diesel 10 meets his demise on the viaduct. And the songs are really good songs. Be it either Shining Time, I Know How You Must Feel, Sunny Sunday, the orchestra version of Really Useful Engine, and Locomotion. In fact, the orchestra version of Really Useful Engine was really, really good. I was surprised that they actually did an orchestra version of that original song. And I'm not really sure why they shortened it, but I like it anyway. You get what you're given. And the music in this film is so charming and yet so threatening at times that I actually thought it was Michael O'Donnell and Junior Campbell. I actually thought that they came back to do the music for this film. But no, it's just done with the exact same spirit and the exact same heart. So yeah, beside all the nitpicks, Thomas and the Magic Railroad isn't as good as I remember it, but it still has its good moments. It's a big story, and I do like the idea of the live actors interacting with the models. That is really clever. It's a movie I was still happy to see on YouTube again, and I think some Thomas fans might get a few enjoying moments out of it, and the chances are that if they re-released it in the big screen again, I'll probably check it out a few more times.